that I just think are cool. I mean, I mean, 6 weeks ago, dude, I went and saw Iron Maiden,
Ah,
and
so did I.
Bruce is that guy is just knocks me out. I mean, I just and of course his singing's just ridiculous, and I just love his singing. But more than that, the guy's just a freaking monster. Such a strong role model and inspiration. At his age, and just taking the fight out there. That guy just doesn't quit.
No, he doesn't. Oh, and you know what? But with the exception, and you just saw, we're going to have a separate Maiden conversation, Biv. But with the exception of even Bruce, you look at Steve Harris is still flying around the stage too. It's amazing.
Oh yeah, those guys. That's just the coolest thing, and truly inspiring. I'll tell you the same deal with Dio. Because I saw Heaven and Hell, and it was probably maybe a month left of that tour. I don't know. It was very shortly after I saw him that he was diagnosed with his stomach cancer. So, you think about it, the guy's 67. He had the illness at that point, although it wasn't diagnosed. He's traveling the world. He's hitting however many 200 plus probably dates a year. The guy's a workhorse, doing an album a year forever. That's inspiring. And not only that, but managed to chop my head off at the concert at the same time. So I was talking this morning how I'm blown away at Axl Rose right now, and I kind of missed on Guns N' Roses a little bit. I was, I guess, in another place, so I really didn't, I wasn't deep into Guns N' Roses, but to see what he's doing right now with this comeback and they're getting back together and seeing these clips, man, he's putting on a fight. And he's sounding good.
Well, it's funny you mentioned that because I was actually going to ask you for your take on Axl. It's now official, is going to be fronting AC/DC for the remainder of their dates and their makeup dates. What are your thoughts on Axl Rose and how he fits with AC/DC?
I just think it's crazy, and of course I have no knowledge of the circumstances, any of the real circumstances behind that. I'm big person. I'm really big on loyalty and stuff. So your instinct is, well, why are they getting rid of the, dropping
Brian Johnson?
Yeah. I mean, that's just, but I just don't know what's going on there. At the same time, that was one of the clips I stumbled into, was Angus getting up on stage with Guns N' Roses and them doing that Whole Lotta Rosie cut, and it was. Did you see that? Have you seen?
Yeah, actually, Guns N' Roses has covered Whole Lotta Rosie all the way back to the Lies tour in '88, '89.
Okay.
So that's a track they've had in their lineup.
So yeah, that's a bread and butter cut. I mean, he sounded freaking awesome on that thing, I thought.
Absolutely.
And how epic is Angus Young and Slash up there cracking that thing? That's cool.
Very cool, very cool. So, Darren, tell us, our listeners out there, who we have listeners pretty much on every continent, how can they follow you, what you're getting into, and kind of keep up with you?
You know what? My, I guess, primary platform is my darn YouTube channel as far as any quirky, weird junk I'm doing day to day. I throw up there, and that's just Crisp Recording, YouTube.
Okay, very good.
But there's plenty of curveballs to be had over there. I mean, heck, there's and this is, I'm crazy excited about it. I don't know if you're familiar with Medeski, Martin, and Wood. at all. They're, from Mars jazz ensemble, but they're like a groove. I don't know. You just need to check them out. But we have this album we're finishing and calling the group Peace Warriors. But I'd really suggest, check out Medeski, Martin, and Wood, because they're pretty mind-numbing.
Will do. And Darren, the hardest working man in music. Darren, thank you so much for being on the show. One of the nicer guys I've ever talked to, and we've talked to lots of folks. Thanks so much for being on. And hey, when more comes out with Age of Liberty, when the album's out, we'd love to have you back to not only talk more about it, but review it and give you our thoughts on it. But we're really excited to hear it. But Darren, thank you so much for being on Accordion Metal. We appreciate it.
Hey, thank you guys.
Hey, it's Nate Loosemore from Lost in Thought, and you're listening to According to Metal.
Biv's Best Bands You've Never Heard of.
We're coming down the home stretch of this episode of According to Metal, but we're going to end this episode like we've ended every episode previous by giving you Biv's best band you've never heard of. Now, Biv spends his time day and night and day, scouring the interwebs looking for the best metal band you've never heard of. And he's given us some really good ones every episode so far. And this episode's going to be no different. I'm not going to try to build it up as this huge amount of information that you're going to get. But Biv is going to enlighten us on the best band we've never heard of. Biv, who is it?
Well, I've been asking our guests who come on to interviews who is somebody that they've seen out there who needs to be heard. And this week in our interview with Darren, he had recommended a band called Hollywood Monsters, which I had never heard of. And it's a supergroup, if you will, of various artists from different bands, including Benny Appice, Steph Hahn, some other well-known names out there, but they've gotten absolutely no love at all. They put out a CD called Big Trouble in 2014, and Darren did a guest vocal spot on an upcoming album, and I believe the actual album is going to be called Evolution. I'm not positive on that, but I believe so. But the track that he guest starred on is called Evolution. And we're going to play that here in a few minutes. But Big Trouble is definitely a CD you want to check out. It's varied. It's if you're a hard rock, traditional metal fan, it's going to be right up your alley. Steph Hahn is an amazing vocalist, by the way. But when you put him on the track we're going to play here in a minute, Evolution, when you put him with Darren and they're kind of doing this dueling vocal thing, it's amazing. So I'm really looking forward to that CD coming out. But let's go ahead and let's just go into Evolution right now.
Yeah, let's check out Evolution. This is from Hollywood Monsters. Again, thanks to Darren for sending this track to us. This is a song you've never heard, we've never heard until now. This is not something that's even been released yet. Check it out. It's Evolution from Hollywood Monsters.
Working intensely paid, 'cause I'm based on mine. Working intensely paid.
was Evolution from Hollywood Monsters, and actually want to give a shout out to Steph Hahn and Darren, both of them, but Steph actually sent us the track. My apologies, but that's going to be really cool stuff, Biv. Thanks for giving me the scoop on Hollywood Monsters, dude. I can't wait to check out more of their stuff.
Oh, and actually, I got the scoop from Darren. So, I use all kinds of different sources to find these bands. A lot of it's on the web. A lot of it is, recommendations from, fans of the show. Sometimes a band will send us their stuff. Sometimes, and as in this case, this is the first time where a guest has given me something that I just was so excited about. I wanted to use it immediately. So I had another band lined up, and that's okay because there's always the next episode, kind of like with the, Cub fan, there's always next season. So always next year. But really looking forward to it. So again, thanks Darren and Steph for letting us play that on the air. And there's Biv's Best Band.
There you go. And if you think you can be Biv's Best Band we've never heard of before, or if you have a friend or somebody in metal that you believe needs to be heard, shoot your stuff to us. Send us an email, link it, however you want to do it. Just send it to us at accordingtometal@gmail.com. That is accordingtometal@gmail.com. Send us your stuff. We will check it out. Biv will check it out, and you may be the next Biv's Best Band we've never heard of. All right, well, that wraps up According to Metal on this episode. And we covered a lot, man. We had news, reviews, interviews, and all things metal like we always do here on the show. A lot of news. We talked AC/DC and GNR, and that's just an incredibly compelling story that I'm sure is going to continue on the next episodes that you hear, because we find it interesting, and I'm sure you do too as well. Also, we reviewed Shiraz Lane, Thornbridge's, and Zakk Wylde's most recent album. Also, thank you to Darren Crisp, who joined us from SunCrown, who was our guest this week. And also, Age of Liberty, they got new stuff coming out, a new project involving Darren. Make sure you check that out as well. Really excited to hear that. Also, a big thank you to Darren and Stefan Hond, who sent us Evolution, an exclusive track that no one's heard yet, including us until now. And check out Hollywood Monsters, which is Biv's Best Band you've never heard of this week. Thank you so much for listening to the show, and make sure you subscribe to the podcast, whether it's on iTunes, Spreaker, Stitcher, SoundCloud, doesn't matter. We're on there. Make sure you subscribe. Every other Friday, a new episode of According to Metal hits, so make sure you subscribe so you don't get left behind. And we'll be back with another episode very, very soon, but until then, stay heavy and stay metal!
You can follow According to Metal on Twitter at ATMetalPod, and stay in touch with the guys by liking the According to Metal Facebook page. Just go to facebook.com/According to Metal and click like.